Finding an old wooden box of these can be about as good as finding a box of money. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at something I run into fairly often. A couple times a month I have the opportunity to purchase these. Every single month. It's something that most other people do not mess with because of their lack of knowledge in this area and the fact that you do need to have a little bit of time and money invested into doing well with this category here. Now today we're going to talk about what I find in cigar boxes or on shelves and stuff in garages and basements all the time. Now we're talking about old vacuum tubes today. Some of these can sell for some insane amounts of money. $4,000 or $5,000 for one, $10,000 for one as well. So some of these can go for some monster money, as I said. But knowing a little bit about them is why you're going to make money. Your other competitors out there who are sourcing, who are resellers as well, won't want to spend the time or money invested into doing this. So hence I do end up finding them quite often for almost nothing. I can buy hundreds, sometimes thousands of these for just a few $100s. So let's hop in and delve into this topic now and show you how it works. Now, one thing I've learned in the last 15 years of messing with vacuum tubes is that age is not a factor in them. It's the type of tube, the model number on the specific tube itself. Another thing that I see a lot of and what people like are pairs. Selling a pair of the same tube in the same condition does very well. Many times when you want to fix a project, it requires two of one item, especially with the number one area that a lot of these go into, which are guitar amplifiers and amplifiers in general. The sound of a vintage tube amplifier is what most people love and why they pay so much for many of these tubes. Like this pair here that sold for almost $6,000. Now, one other aspect are how the tubes are marked. Now, almost every tube I ever run into has a number, a tube number on that. And that would correspond with service manuals or pretty much repair manuals of any kind to tell you what tube goes where. So if a tube's out, it has a number. You go track down the number, and you can pull it right out. Our radio repair shop would have walls of tubes, and each one was marked in a certain order so they knew right where to pull those out. These are like me having a bin number on my eBay listings or Amazon or something like that. It's the same basic principle. One aspect on those numbers, though, is some are actually engraved into the base versus stamped on with ink and printed onto them. Now this one here is actually engraved. A machine impressed it, or it was hand etched in some of the few that I have seen into the edge of this here. Sometimes it's done into the metal, sometimes it's done in a bakelite plastic, whatever the case may be on the base itself. That is a deciding factor on some. If you've got two and one has it etched in and it's a little older, obviously, that one would be worth the most. This one here went for over $4,000. Now, you can run into new old stock, NOS, quite often. I've bought hundreds and hundreds, thousands of tubes all at the same time that were all NOS from a TV shop that went under, repair shops, radio repair and places like that. When they go under, they show up. You might go into a estate sale of someone who was a repairman, and you'll find his box, his bag of all of his tubes and things like that that he would carry out. Now, the ones for like TVs and such forth don't carry the kind of value that the other ones do. They're usually a little smaller because modern technology was able to shrink the size down needed to produce the same effect as some of the tubes. Now, if you get into tubes as well, you're going to see the same numbers selling constantly over and over and over again. They're always at the top of the list because they are used in some very high-end vintage electronic equipment, such as tube amplifiers for guitars. It's literally one of the number one areas I see them going into, not the only area. If you go to look these up too, you might have a little bit of a problem to sort through them because they show up in multiple different categories. You can find them in musical instruments, you can find them in vintage electronics, and a few other categories as well. The military section, you'll run into them too because many tubes were made for the military's radio equipment as well, and they actually are stamped just with military information on the sides of them. Here's a nice, interesting lot here. These are Western Electric 310A, which is one you should always know. This lot here went for over $4,000 for these 4 tubes. Now, the biggest thing you need to know is that they need to work. If somebody's going to spend this kind of money on tubes, they better darn well be tested. Now, we'll show you towards the end here the testers, and we'll talk about them briefly as well. They are obtainable, and they are easy to use once you understand the basics of them. I've run into tube testers I don't know how many times. We have bought and sold a few tube testers ourselves, but we usually do not mess with them. We have one we use to test with, and that's about it. I usually just mess with the bulbs, the vacuum tubes themselves. Now, one other thing with vacuum tubes is they can be found in any country out there. Everybody used the same technology at the point when these were high fashion, when these actually ran a radio or amplifier. So you will find them from pretty much any country out there. As long as the numbers match a US one or they can be used as a specific one, it doesn't matter who made them for the most part. Now, some name brands will go for more than others, quite a bit more, because they're known for quality and their material has lasted for a very long time. And one more thing, too, that I should say is just because it looks used and beat up doesn't mean that it wouldn't test like a new old stock tube. Looks can be very deceiving in some tubes. If you know how a tube tester works, you can tell how much life is left and things like that with tubes. Judges resistance and a whole bunch of other factors. I'm not up on how they actually judge it or what the specs are. I just know what to put in a listing if it's an expensive bulb. You don't have to know everything about this category to do very well, but you have to invest the basics, the tester, a few guidebooks so you can transfer numbers from one numbering system to another. Some companies like Western Electric may use a totally different numbering structure than other ones, but they do the exact same thing for the basic unit that they may fit into, I should say. So hopefully that makes sense. If you know enough about them, if you dig into them, you'll completely understand what I'm talking about here. This is a Telefunken, which is a German-made one. They make records, all sorts of things, Telefunken. You'll see that name all over the place. This one went for $2,500+. And you can see it's worn on the top of it as well, so it's not in mint condition. Condition, again, isn't everything by looks. It's how well it works. Most people would give up looks any day of the week if it was in NOS condition, if it used or functioned as NOS. Looks and shape of the tube as well aren't always a factor in whether it's priced one way or another. Now, this is a set used in some Navy equipment. Again, Navy used them just like everybody else. Everybody used tubes at one time. So they made them by the millions across the country. Not only just this country, as I said, but all over the globe. Now, this lot here is sold for $2,400. Now, here's another lot of a few other ones. These look very, very similar in shape, construction, design, and the whole works as the other ones I just showed you from the Navy ones. Looks can be extremely deceiving if you don't know your tubes. Numbering systems are all that really matters, the number. These are super easy to look up online as well because you can just type in the number and the manufacturer and put the word tube in the title of your search and you should get a bunch of results showing you what the value is. Most every tube that I think I've ever run into, I was able to track down a price or at least determine if it was worth selling or not based on the number on the tube. You may run into some tubes, though, that are worn down where you can't read the number. Those I am at loss usually because it would take me forever trying to sort down through those based on actually the specs and the appearance of the bulb. So those we usually just put in a lot and let somebody else deal with those. Now, as I said, NOS, new old stock tubes show up all over the place. Hear people tell me, you're not going to find this, you're not going to find that. I find these sorts of things all over. Another key aspect on them, if people don't have a tube tester or don't know how these work, most people won't pick them up, and I'm able to get them dirt cheap. Now, most of the tubes you're going to run into from the 50s and newer, most of them won't be worth much money, but they can be sold various different ways, so you can still make some good money, even though you can't sell them individually. This one here, NOS in the box, it still has all the wrapping material, the whole works. It has a engraved base also, over $2,200. Another lot here that sold for over $1,300. This person has tested them 3 different times on 3 different testers to make sure that there's no way on earth that these aren't working. One aspect too, you don't usually just want one tube tester. You'd want to test them on several different competing units to make sure that the numbers are solid and straight. If you're selling something that goes for thousands of dollars, like many of these tubes do, you want to make sure you're accurate with your information. It's not a bad read or you didn't understand how the machine worked. You want to do it on a couple of them. Once you get past the initial investment in buying those, and again, you can buy them as a reseller fairly cheap, a few $100 for most of the decent ones I've seen. You don't have to have top end one, but you have to have one that's decent and that does surely work. Now, one other thing you will notice is a large chunk of the expensive ones look very, very similar. That's why the biggest factor is the number on the tube itself. And that's how I look up every single one. eBay is not the only source to look these up. There are sites out there as well that'll help you figure out which number goes with which maker for which device as well. So there are many other figures or places you can track down this information. This one sold for over $1,000 as well. Now, one other aspect you will see on some of the vacuum tubes is where there's a buildup, where the glass looks mirrorized on the inside. Now, that's actually from use. There's gas inside of these bulbs, and at some point when they've been used a certain point of time, it creates like a mirroring with chemicals or interactions on the inside of the actual tube. I'm not sure on the terminology of that. I'm sure somebody out there will be able to point out exactly what that's called, but even if that is found on some of the bulbs, as long as they test okay, I have never had an issue with selling them like that. You just have to show what's going on with the bulb. Be honest. If you haven't tested them, make sure no matter what you put untested in your listing. Because if you say you tested them and you fib and it doesn't work, you're the one going to have to be dealing with a very unhappy customer and a return for sure on the item. This is just the typical example here of what we actually run into for the most part. Newer ones like this, usually from a repairman from a TV repair store or something along that line. They can still sell for a lot of money. Usually on the common ones that aren't worth a ton of money or worth selling individually, I usually can get about 50 cents to $1 a piece for the tubes sold in bulk. So if I list a lot of, say, 300 plus tubes, I usually can crank out 150 or better out of that when I list them in lots like this. Fairly easy to ship as well because the cardboard that they come in is actually shipping containers. So as long as you wrap around them, you bundle them in lots of, say, 10 or 15 together, and then bundle those into a big box with a bunch of bubble wrap around the whole lot, it's not a huge ordeal to ship them. If it's a single bulb, now that's a different story. I ship them very carefully on those cases, especially the ones that are worth hundreds if not thousands of dollars. One more aspect as well, do not touch the tube itself with your hands. There could be oil coming from your skin onto them, and when somebody uses it, it could damage the actual tube itself. So always wear gloves or grab them with a paper towel or something like that, but don't touch the tubes themselves. Now, sometimes you can find lots where the lots themselves are full of identical ones, and in those cases, you can still sell them for some phenomenal money. This is a mixed lot of 3 different types of tubes, $2,500. Now, even when I have a whole bunch, I list the total quantity in the listing because a business tends to buy those. A guitar amplifier repair shop may buy 10 or 20 if that's what you have in stock for future use. It may be something they're constantly using, so I don't worry about having quantity either if it's the right ones. Now here's one of the popular name brands for tube testers. This one's a luxury unit here. This is top of the line with all the bells and whistles. Fairly modern for this type of equipment here. $1,500 for a top-end one. Now, you don't need a top-end one. You can spend a couple $100 at most and get one that should do what you need it to do. But high-end bulbs and things like that, most people are going to make sure they're tested properly. Now, if you get heavy into this one, another option for a tube tester would be military units. Military units, though they're not name brand like you would see on other ones, still have parts that were made by those same companies in many cases. Or the quality of them is just as good because the military relied on the equipment immensely, far more than, say, a guitar player who wanted his amp to be top-end line. The military tube testers can cost half or less right off the bat, so that can save you money when you want to invest in something like this and you've got tens of thousands of tubes to deal with. I know people who have 10,000 plus tubes, 20,000 plus tubes in inventory, and that's what they do for a business. Now lastly, remember that they show up in many different categories, so you can't just judge them by looking at a specific category when you're going through, say, Terapeak to figure out the value. Most of the ones that routinely sell for high value you can find simply in eBay's completed listings, but ones that don't show up very often you'll definitely have to go into Terapeak. Now it might be a little harder because eBay's search results these days give you all kinds of results that have nothing to do with what you're looking for in many cases, so I do usually narrow these down to specific categories, but I may open up several tabs like I've done here, and another tab may have a different option or a different category specifically shown. So some people call them radio tubes, some people call them vacuum tubes, most people call them vacuum tubes for the most part. Amplifier tubes you may see used instead. So it just depends on who's selling them as to the terminology used in the title. So you really should know at least the basic categories these will be found in. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Next year, thousands of young athletes from all over the world will be leaving their homes to follow that great dream, the Olympic dream.
That's the way it should be. I'd like to see the whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola has life. Have a Coke and a smile. A Coke and a smile makes me feel good.
To all the young men and women participating in next year's Olympics, your Coca-Cola bottler would like to wish you good luck.
That's the way it should be. I'd like to see the whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola has life. Have a Coke and a smile.